Hello, am I audible? Hello, hello. Am I audible? Hello. Okay. Hello, guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel, all about remote jobs. And in this channel, we'll mainly discuss about remote work opportunities, companies which are hiring for fully remote job roles, and of course, how to apply for these roles. The main purpose of creating this YouTube channel or this idea came into my mind after I was sharing my work experience at Micro1. It's an AI data annotation company. In a Facebook post, I there was a Facebook group where I mentioned that I'm working with Micro1 and how's my experience so far. Then after that post, almost 500 or 600 people messaged me, and they were actually asking me about how to apply for these roles and what is this company all about. So over the period of time, it was becoming a bit difficult, to reply to so many people at the same time, almost 500 to 600 people on Facebook. So I thought, why not, let's go ahead and create a YouTube channel, and share my journey, my learning experience, and this is a way of giving back to the community and also helping others, who are looking for remote jobs. So in this video, we'll try to keep this video below 30 minutes, probably within 20-25 minutes of time range. Okay, because within 2 hours we are going to have the FIFA World Cup. So even I don't want to miss that. So this video will basically be in three parts. Okay, in the first part or the first chapter, we are going to discuss about my. I'll give a brief intro about myself, my experience, and the companies where I have worked. The second part will be purely about Micro One, how I joined Micro One, how's my experience working at Micro One, and also uh, are there any open opportunities at Micro One. And last but not the least, the third section would be a live Q&A session, where if you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask me and I will try to clear any doubts. So let's get started. So let me introduce myself. My name is Nishant Dubey and I'm from India, and have got years of experience in technical support and customer service industry. And I have worked with companies like Wipro, IBM, Microsoft as a freelancer for almost 2 years. And most recently, I have been into the AI domain since last 7 to 8 months. Okay, so this is all about myself. And just to clarify, I don't have any kind of technical degrees. I'm just a BCom graduate from IGNU. And in terms of AI education, even I don't have any AI certifications. Still, I was able to crack with top five, not top five, but top three AI companies. So yeah, so now let me just discuss more about about Micro One. Since 2023, I have been into remote work. Okay, I joined Microsoft as a technical support ambassador as a freelancer in 2023 April, and I worked there for almost 3 years. But we are going to discuss about that in a later video. Today, I'm going to discuss about Micro One. So let's come back to December 2025, when I was looking for some remote opportunities. And that's when I came to know about companies who deal in AI data annotation work. Okay, and I don't know what was at that point of time. Even I never knew what AI annotation work is or data annotation work was. So it was pretty new for me as well. But I was mainly looking for remote job opportunities. Okay, which companies are hiring for fully remote work. And I came into an industry like data annotation and AI training work. Okay, and most of the companies were hiring for fully remote workers over there, and that's how I landed with a company named Micro1, and I tried to apply it for that in the month of December. Okay, and by January I got selected. In the month of January, it happened this way that I got project invitations from five different companies at once. Yeah, in December I was not working anywhere, but in Jan I got opportunities from five companies, and that was like it was like a blessing for me. So in Jan, I joined Micro1, Mercor, Turing, and there are two more companies. But today I will discuss about Micro1 only. About Mercor and Turing, we are going to discuss at a later point of time. So I first applied on Micro1 in December 2025. It was almost 15th or 20th of December when I started applying for open roles at Micro1. So Micro1 works in such a way, like, yeah, this is how Micro1 works, and it's a bit different as compared to different companies, especially in AI industry. Once you apply for open roles, the first objective or the first target you should have is to get certified. Okay, they provide you certification. Now many people have asked me this question, like, do we have to pay to get certified, or is there any charge for getting the certification? So the answer is no, you don't have to get certified. It works in this simple way that you apply for some open roles at Micro1. Okay, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your knowledge. Suppose you're applying for a role in customer service industry, but you have an expert, or if you have experience working with a different company, or in a different domain. So it is it doesn't really hardly matters if you have experience of customer service or not. So that's what I did. I applied for the mostly open roles, and it was for customer service industry. It was for a role of customer service position. So I applied, and I my interview was great, and that's how I got certified. So when you're trying to apply at Micro1, your first objective should be to get certified. Okay, now certified means if you have passed the interview with a great, they do not share whether of how much percentage you got for the particular interview, what are your marks, but it will be just one interview. It will be an AI interview, okay, at Micro1, where it will be an audio video interview. Okay, with the same at the same time you have to share your screen as well. Okay, and so you actually cannot cheat in these AI interviews. So there's an AI interviewer named Zara. It's an AI mechanism at Micro1. So you are not going to be giving your interview or speaking to a live human being. In fact, it will be an AI boot. It's an AI bot named Zara. She'll be asking you questions like, tell me something about yourself, and more specifically about the roles for which you're applying. For example, I appeared for customer service role. So she asked me questions like, how to deal with I remember how to deal with an irate customer. What are some top five skills a customer service representative should have? How do you deal with a customer who's expecting more? So they were like situation based questions. Okay, and for a couple of questions I used the star format to address the concern. It's industry standard, I guess. Many people are aware of what star format is. So and another questions where I try to answer in point format. So this is how I did. I first looked for my open roles at Micro1, which were matching with my skills, and then I applied for those roles. Customer service was mainly one among them. Customer service, then technical support, then there was email customer service assistant. Okay, and I can see there are some questions coming up in the chat. We will keep questions at the later point of time, but I will try to answer as much as I can. So in Micro1, I applied for customer service position, and I thought that once I got certified, I got selected. But then I came to know that certification is just the first step. Okay, once you get certified, you don't get a job instantly. Okay, so how it works in Micro1, it's specifically for Micro1 only. For other AI companies like Mercer or Turing or maybe Outlier, it doesn't works that way. Okay, but The concept of talent pool is everywhere. I guess it's with Mercor and Turing as well. So once you start giving interviews and you get certified, you know, your first objective should be to uh, gain a certification. Okay, nowadays Micro1, like, there are a lot of changes happening day by day, every week. A lot of things are getting introduced in the dashboard. Previously it was not there. Like when I tried to apply in December 2025, like last year, and even in Jan 2026, there were a lot of things which were not there, which are right now integrated into the portal. So one of them was certification. Okay, so previously we used to get certified for a particular position. Like I got my certification in technical support, engineer role, since I worked at Microsoft and I had an extensive knowledge of technical support and customer service industry. The same way some of my friends got certified as a Photoshop engineer, someone got certified as a Python expert. Okay, but nowadays I've spoken to many people, and nowadays Micro1 is also certifying people without any title. Like you apply for a role, and if uh, you apply for the role and you don't get the job, but you have passed the Zara interview with flying colors. So you get just simple certification that Nishan Dubey has been certified by Microsoft, by Micro1, but you don't get a title associated with it, which I got earlier. Okay, so that is the first thing. First you apply and you get certified, which cost like nothing. You don't have to pay any money to Micro1. Then you get once you get certified, it simply means that you have been added to their talent pool of experts. So they use the term experts. So once you're a certified expert, that means you're in the talent pool. So the question is, after once you get certified, do you have to or do you get the job instantly? The answer is no. You have to keep on applying. For me, myself, I will share my experience. I got certified in the last week of December 2025, and I was matched to a project in the 25th or 26th of January 2026. So it took almost 1 month from certification to getting a landing a job at Micro1. And in between this 1 month of period, I applied to roughly 8 to 9 roles. I got some roles were not the status showed that I have not selected or not qualified. But there was one role that was for AI evolution expert, and I gave the interview and it was pretty good and I got selected instantly. I will also give you some tips how to apply and what tricks I used to pass the certification and the interview. But the more importantly, I would like to address some things, like this is not an FT position. It's not, you don't get hired as a full-time employee of Micro1. So Micro1 is a company based in San Francisco, and they have their head office in San Francisco. And I don't know about any other countries, but in India they have their office in Bangalore as well, of course the Silicon Valley hub of India. So you can apply for offline roles as well, where you have to be on site. Okay, and that option is for roles at Bangalore as well and for US office as well in San Francisco. But I was mainly interested at remote work from everywhere role, 100% remote, like you stay in any part of the world and you can work. So that those positions are the like it's like 90% of jobs that come at Micro1 are for 100% remote work. Okay, so that's one of the role which I applied. Okay, as far as the experience is concerned, I don't think so you need any kind of experience. Okay, I had an experience and that's why I was able to give the interview, and my interview was pretty good. On the very second first interview or second interview, I got certified. I remember I appeared for customer service role and then for technical support engineer role, and technical support engineer role was the second interview which I gave at Micro1. That was in December, and within giving the interview I got certified. So what I have observed and what I have seen, and I have even talked to some experts at Micro1, that if you are giving a great interview, okay, you get certified instantly. Okay, it's an AI interview as I mentioned, and an AI chatbot named Zara. She'll be communicating with you. She'll be asking you questions. You cannot cheat AI chatbot, because she is pretty smart. Okay, so it's not like, you can just learn the questions which she is asking. No, the questions are completely different. It depends upon the candidate, the role, and your geographical location. And the more answers you give, she will ask you more questions. Okay, also, I would advise you to only say about those things, or discuss about those things which you are aware of. Okay, suppose you're in customer service industry. Okay, and you also have some knowledge of, uh, as a QA person, as a quality person, but you don't know what Six Sigma is all about, and you just talk about that, I have been certified as Six Sigma, or I have a Six Sigma certification. Then the follow-up questions from Zara would be, okay, tell me something about what is Six Sigma, or how will you deal with this. So be very careful what you're telling about yourself to Zara, because the follow-up questions will be completely from the information which you're giving to Zara, and the role specifications for which you're giving the interview. So once you get certified, you add it to their talent pool, and then you need to keep applying to the positions. That's you have to do. Rarely I have seen anyone that, they have got certified and they got a job offer at Micro1. I'm not sure if it works that way. In Mercor, it has happened with me that I opened, I you know and I applied for a couple of roles, but I didn't qualify for them, but I got an invitation for other projects as well. But in Micro1, it didn't happen with me that way. And I have spoken to a few Micro1 people, experts, like my friends who are working with Micro1. They have all given the same, experience, that you don't get an invitation. But so it may have changed in recent times, but however, once you get certified, the idea is to keep applying. Okay, so this is a completely contractual position. Okay, so you don't get, like, you're not in a full-time position. Okay, and the best thing about over here is, like, you work at your own time schedule. Okay, so we work on a weekly basis. Everywhere the targets are given on weekly basis. I cannot share more details about my project, but I will try to give a brief intro of how AI annotation works, or how these AI data companies work, especially Micro1 and Mercor. So at Micro1, you choose your own shift. Okay, while you're giving the interview, you have to give a commitment that you will be available for 20 to 40 hours in a week. Okay, but it's not mandate that, you have to give 40 hours. Okay, and it's like, it depends upon you. There are some times when, I had to be out of office, or I have to go on a vacation, or some urgent work came up, and I was not available for 3 to 4 days. So I just inform my manager that I won't be, able to work 40 hours this week, maybe 20 or 25 hours. And my manager was pretty, he was cool with it. The reason why it is, because first of all, you are not a full-time employee. You're not holding a permanent position. You get hired on project basis. Okay, so you don't get assigned to any roles at Micro1. You get assigned to a particular project. Okay, and within that project, once that project finishes, that means your work with Micro1 is over. Then you again be added to the talent pool, and on the basis of how you performed on the first product. Okay, if you were great, or if you were a good performer, the chances of getting assigned to a different project in Micro1 becomes higher. Okay, and the most important thing is, you get paid by hours. Okay, the hours of work you do. So in a particular week, if you have worked for 20 hours, you will be paid only for those 20 hours. And you will not be paid for any other hours you have not worked for. And yeah, we basically get paid via deal. Okay, it's a company who processes payments on behalf of Micro1. The payments are usually bi-weekly, so we get paid twice in a month. And yeah, the best part also about Micro1 is, we have an async communication and async work schedule, which means, we can work at on our own time, own schedule. Okay, suppose this week I'm able to work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so, and next week maybe I'll be able to work on Thursdays, Fridays, or maybe on Saturdays. Okay, and this week I'll be able to work on my own country's time, as I'm from India. So maybe I'm able to work during IST time, Indian Standard Time, and next week maybe I will be able to work in a PST time zone. So they are pretty cool with it until unless you are able to uh, you know uh, fulfill your targets, fulfill your weekly quota, and you don't have any kind of compliance issues, then they are pretty good with it. They are there will be no issues, so you can work according to your time zone. And I usually work according to my time zone since I'm in India. So I try to work during Indian office hours, okay, from 10 to 6 or maybe 10 to 7. And we mostly communicate via Slack. Okay, so we don't have any other communication channel. Slack is the only recommended and preferred channel. And as far as team meetings are concerned, nowadays there's a concept of office hours. So we don't say it's a team meeting, we say it's an office hours. Okay, since it's a completely remote work, my colleagues are from maybe Nigeria, mostly are from Europe, some are from US as well, and very few are from India, including me. I guess there are 3 or 4 people from India, and majority are from US and European region. So we have a weekly office hours where it's kind of a team meeting, where if you have any doubts or if you're new to the process, you can join that particular team meeting and you can clear your doubts. And once you get onboarded to any project at Micro1, you have an onboarding and welcoming team session where they discuss about the process, the project with you. And if you have any doubts at that time, you can clear those doubts. Next question would be like, is there any kind of training? There is no training provided in these companies. Okay, you mostly have to do a self-learning process. So they will be giving you the project details, okay, the do's and don'ts, and how to create a task or how to work on the projects. You have to go through those FAQs and you have to self-train yourself. It's not only about me, but all the people who are working in the AI industry. They must be aware of this concept that no one is going to give you any kind of training. It's just completely self learning process, and that's how we work. Okay, and yeah, the most important, what kind of work I do at Micro1. So of course I cannot discuss what kind of work I do, or I cannot give my project specific information. However, let me give you a brief overall view of what AI annotation work is. So this was a really new concept for me. I'm a person who was from technical support and customer service industry. I have worked as an agent, a TL, and also as an ops lead. Okay, and I was, I was having a habit of taking calls, assisting customers, finding out technical issues or any kind of, customer service, queries, how to change the billing information. But it was a roller coaster ride for me from my technical support job role to an AI annotation work. So this is how an AI annotation work happens. Usually in AI annotation work, you have to judge the responses of an AI model. Suppose there's an AI model named chat gpt, okay, and a user like a live human like you or me have given a prompt like what is the temperature today in California, or maybe how many people are living in the Bay Area. Okay, any question like related to soccer, who has qualified for the semifinals of of FIFA 2026. Okay, so there will be a prompt that will be given to the AI model. That prompt is usually an example prompt that is given to train the AI model. Okay, so in a live scenario, suppose you are asking a question to chat gpt, the chat gpt answers those questions to you. Okay, so in AI annotation work, this is how it happens. You'll be given a task. Okay, in that task you will be given the prompt which has been entered or which has been input to the AI model, and the different responses the AI model was able to generate. Now it's kind of very technical, but in layman's term, you just enter a prompt to the AI model. It generates multiple responses, response A and response B, sometimes even response C. And your job as a data annotator is to judge those responses on different criterias and different methods of rubrics. Okay, so each project has its own rules and regulation how you are going to judge these responses. Suppose you have asked a question and response A gave some answer, response B gave same answer. Okay, so now you have to judge between the response A and response B, which response is better and why. For example, response A, I'm giving an example. This is not, of course, specific to my project, but this is how most of the AI annotation works. So you will mention that response A, was it was able to complete the task properly, while response B missed out some details. And there's a concept of hallucination. Did the AI hallucinate? It means, was the AI generating a response that had some details which are false in nature, like which does not exist? For example, how many continents are there in the world? That's my prompt. And the response A gave 7 and response B gave 23. So of course 23 is the wrong answer, and AI is just making up the answer. So that's called hallucination. And when an AI hallucinates, then you have to mark down that particular response. So this is how data annotation works. There's a prompt, then there's a response A and B, and then you as a live person has to judge A is better or B is better and why, depending upon the metrics or the criterias or the KPIs of that particular project. And this is how the task is completely done. Okay, so yeah, so this is all about Micro1, and I have been assigned to a project at Micro1 since the beginning of February 2026, and touchwood, it's still going on. Okay, at most companies, most of the projects are usually for 4 weeks or 8 weeks, like 1 month or 2 months. But this is a very long project which we are having at Micro1. And of course, I'm sure we all guys who are a part of this project, they are performing well, and that's the reason why this project is running for such a long time. Let's hope that it run for some more months. Okay, so this was my overall experience with Micro1. Okay, let me see if I have missed out some points. Yeah, overall, I would like to give my on as the the topic of this particular video was my honest review about Micro1. So my honest review is I will come to the questions. I can see a couple of questions over here. I'll be just coming to that in a while. My honest review about Micro1 is like it's a great company. If I have to rate this company, of course, I'll be rating it on 10 on 10. Okay. Why? The reasons are, there are many reasons, but according to my overall experience, I would say the number one point is, the management is super approachable. If you have any issues or if you have any doubts, you can, just message them. They are super responsive, and most of the times they will try to reply you as soon as possible if they are online. And as I said, we usually communicate on Slack. But apart from that, we have video calls session as well. As I said, office hours once a week or maybe twice a month. Okay, the pay is great and the pay is on time. Okay, since last 6 to 7 months, I have never felt that I was underpaid, or always my pay was on time. If it's on fifth, then I get it on fifth. I don't get it on fourth, or I don't get it on sixth or seventh. Okay, of course, one very important thing for me is working at as a remote worker. Okay, the best thing is I get to choose my own shift. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, uh, whenever I'm online, whenever I have some free time, I come online and I start working. Okay, and one important point I missed out. Uh, that the time tracking, there's time tracking at Micro1. We usually use a software named HubSpot. hub staff, I'm sorry. So that's a software which we use. Okay, I don't know about other projects, but at my project we have been using at Micro1, I have been assigned with two different projects at Micro1, and we use hub staff to track the time, and that's how it happens. Manual time tracking is not recommended and is not practiced. So it simply means if you start working, you can just turn on the time tracking option on Hubstaff, and you'll be get billed on that. Okay, yeah. The work environment is also pretty great over here because you don't get micromanaged by your managers. In my work experience, I have been micromanaged a lot. By seniors and by managers. That's very normal concept. It's not a healthy practice, but everyone must have been micromanaged in their life once a while. But over here, they assign you a target, and how you complete it doesn't matter. They just want you to complete it in a timely manner in a week. Okay, and yeah. So this was my honest experience working at Micro1 since last 6 months. And yeah, so let's get to the third part of the question. The like that's the question and answering part. Okay, the first question is, do you need experience in a certain role to apply? Well, the answer is yes and no as well. Why? Because if you have experience for a particular role, then you are a master of that particular role, right? For suppose for me, I got certified as a technical support engineer. The moment I applied, I got certified because I was very great at it, assisting customers on Windows and Mac computers. So it was a desktop support experience which I had. However, you don't need to have any kind of experience to apply for a role. The idea at Micro1 is to crack the interview. If you are able to crack the interview, then it's well and fine. For suppose you are having a customer service industry experience, but you also have some exposure to Photoshop. Okay, so you are applying to a Photoshop role. Yes, you can always apply. It's not necessary that you need to have an experience in customer support industry and you can only apply to a customer support industry. No, I have applied to almost 12 to 13 roles. Okay, and I got finally selected for one role, and I was certified in technical support industry. So yes, you definitely don't need experience, but if you have an experience, that's like a blessing. How much do we get paid per hour? That's a very important question. So the pay per hour depends upon your geographical location, the process or the project or the job role for which you're applying, and of course, last but not the least, how your interview was. Okay, so these are the three major criterias. How you like how much do you get paid? I cannot disclose my exact earning per hour, but it's pretty great. I never imagined I will be able to earn so much living in India, that to a completely 100% remote work. Okay, I complete my shift sometimes maybe in a 4 days or 5 days in a week. Okay, so, but the payment is mentioned upfront. Okay, for each and every role. Suppose you're applying for a data annotator role over there, or maybe a generalist role. So it is mentioned over there. Suppose it's mentioned $20 to $40. So you'll be getting somewhere between $20 to $40. Again, depending upon how good your interview was, your geographical location, and of course, like, do you have any prior experience as well? These are some important factors. How much we can get paid. Okay, on an average, how many hours do we need to work in a day? Okay. Uh, Pooja has this question. Yeah, there's no specific criteria that you have to work 8 hours or 10 hours in a day. At least that's my experience at Micro1. Suppose I am not able to work today. Okay, suppose I just logged in for the shift. Okay, and I have some medical emergency, or I'm not forget about emergency. I don't want to work today. Maybe I have to, I want to watch a movie with my family, or maybe I want to go on an outing with my family and I have to do some other stuff. So I can just log off. I don't have to inform anyone. This is the best part over here is, so in on an average, how many hours do we need to work in a day? There's no fixed hours. You can work for 2 hours as well, You can work for 8 to 10 hours as well, depends upon you. As I mentioned earlier, they expect you to work from 20 to 40 hours in a week at Micro 1, but they are very flexible in nature. Okay, but since you get paid and you're working as a freelancer, that's the best part, that you will always try to work as much as you can, because everyone likes money, right? So of course you can work as many hours as you can you apply for multiple projects? Of course, you can apply for multiple projects, my friend. I did apply for multiple projects. If uh, okay, the question is, if you're working for a particular project, if you're like, I'm an employee of a Micro One, I'm working at Micro One for a project. Can I apply for another project as well at the same time? Of course, you can apply, but the chances of getting selected is very slim. After I got selected for a project in Feb, after that I have applied for 4 or 5 roles, but I got rejected on all the roles. And there's no such information as of, can we apply for multiple positions at the same time or not. You can apply, but you will be only hired on one particular project, which means you can work at one project at a time. Okay. Can you explain how the tasks are allotted among people? Is it like the first come first process? Okay, FIFO method. Uh, actually, it will be giving too much detail about my project. I cannot mention that, but the project in which I'm working over here is, you create your own tasks. So it's not that you get assigned tasks. Okay, that's what happened with me at Turing. That you have to wait for the tasks the task used to come in batches. Okay, so you have to wait for a new batch and the task comes up. But at Micro One here, specifically at my project, uh, we create our own task, just in other words. So we don't have to wait for the tasks to come up, which simply means the work is always unlimited, and you can work for approx 40 hours per week. For those who are non-corporate background, will that impact the interview? Definitely not, Pooja. It will not impact who are not from a corporate industry. I have seen, in my process, I have seen people who are above 50 years of age. They are not from a corporate background. They have a experience in a different industry, but they were able to crack the interview. So the idea is to appear for the interview and give a very good interview. That's the main mantra of cracking the roles. Even your CV does not matters. The CV which I was able to use to crack for roles at Micro One, I'll be discussing that in coming videos, and there will be dedicated video for that. But the CV, your experience, okay, and your background, it hardly matters. If you are able to pass out the interview, and if you are great at the interviews, so you get certified and you definitely get hired. Okay. And I have seen people who are students, okay, who are still studying, okay, in their college, they got hired. Okay. So of course they had zero experience. They are still 19 or 20 years old. They are just fresh. They have just completed their bachelor's or degrees, and they just got hired. So of course corporate background does not matters. Do referrals work here? Of course referrals does work here. Okay, I can share my referral link over here as well. That will also be in the video. Let me just share that as well. Okay, let me just give, yeah, referral. I got hired at Micro One. I used someone's referral. Okay, now the question is, does referral works like, uh, do referral guarantee job? I'm not sure about that, and I'm not the right person to answer that, because I surely don't know. However, for joining any particular company, it's always best to use referrals. That is the best way to apply to any company. Any tricks to clear the interview? Okay. Okay, I would say is, when you're trying to prepare for an interview, irrespective of your experience, irrespective from which industry you are, there are a couple of things which you should use. Okay, which I even personally used. The first thing is, you need to be prepared for that particular position. Okay, you need to be prepared for the interview. It's not like, you're doing a casual window shopping. Okay, if you want to, we are talking serious business here. If you are looking for a job, that means you are serious about it. So you need to understand that you have to invest some time in giving the interview and to develop your skills. So the first thing is, always be prepared for the interview role. Okay, never go like, okay, I'm confident enough, I'll be able to crack the interview. No, it doesn't happens that way. What I would recommend is, suppose you are appearing for a role, let me just check if there are any open roles over here. Suppose you are appearing for a French language expert. Okay, so of course you do speak French, so you are confident enough that I will be able to crack the interview. But that's not. Let's not get into that. What I would suggest is, if you're trying to apply for a particular position, first do one thing. First, try to copy that job description. Okay, and try to prepare on the topics which you will be asked. Okay, in every job description for any role, they will mention the skills on which they will be assessing you. On top of that, they will be mentioning that what the expectations are. Okay, so I will recommend you to prepare for that particular interview by going through the job description. You can even try to paste it in chat GPT before the interview. Okay, and ask that, I'm trying to appear for this particular interview, try to help me out in preparing for the same role. So it will create a roadmap for you. So always have a roadmap for preparation, that I'm appearing for this particular role. What are the key factors which I need to touch? Okay, and what are the important points which I need to be specific about and fluent in. So that's the best way to crack the interview. Second most important way is, try to apply as soon as possible. One very important thing which I forgot to mention is, the role for which I got selected in the month of January 2026, I was very fast in it. So since I am from India, okay, the role opened on 4 p.m. IST Indian time, okay, in the evening, and I saw the role on maybe a 6 or 6:30 p.m., like 3 hours from that. So the role opened on 4 p.m. I applied on 7 p.m. Okay, and by 11 p.m. it was mentioned that hiring manager is interviewing. Hiring manager is reviewing your application. You will see that status a lot if you are given a good interview, or if you're given a normal interview and they have open positions, you will see hiring manager review. And by 1 a.m. in the night, it showed that I got selected. So within 12 hours, less than 12 hours, I got selected for a role. Why? Because I was fast enough to apply. Understand one thing, Micro1 is a global company. Okay, they hire people from anywhere, like most of the countries. Some countries may be banned, I'm not sure about that, but they hire for a particular position from India as well, from Bangladesh as well, from Philippines as well, Nigeria, of course USA, and European countries as well. So you need to understand that if a role has opened for a particular position, so then candidates from all over the world are going to apply. So how are you, how can you make sure that you can get selected? The first is preparing for the interview, and second is trying to apply as soon as possible and try to complete the AI interview. Okay, it's not that you just apply and you just wait for it. No, you apply and you give the interview as soon as possible. 4 p.m. the role was posted on Micro1 job site portal. 7 p.m. I applied, I gave the interview. 11 p.m. hiring manager was looking in my profile, and 1 a.m. in the night I got selected. And the very next day I got an email from the talent operation manager that, congratulations, you have been selected for this particular project. These are the project details, these are your payout details, this is the date on which you will be hired. You will be having a welcome onboarding session on Slack. These are the link, and these are your login ID and password for Google Workspace. All the project specific details were given. So that is my biggest mantra, you can say. Try to apply as soon as possible. If the role, because I have no one says this, I'm not sure about this, but I have felt that the roles over here at Micro1, they get filled up in hours. Literally hours. If a role has come up at 10 a.m. according to your time, by 6 or 7 p.m., if they need 30 people, those people are already selected. And it's just like, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm just trying to share my experience. That's how I'm sure it works. Because try to understand, try to have the probability, the number of people who are applying and the number of positions they are having. Do you think a role will be open for maybe a week or 10 days? I'm not sure about that. The role will be like max, it will be open for 1 or 2 days at the max. It won't be, the role will already be filled up within a day. So prepare for the interview. Try to apply as fast as you can. And the most important thing is this: your camera. Okay, have a good camera. Okay, when I gave the interview, I purchased a Logitech camera, an external camera. My laptop had a camera that was 3.2 megapixel VGA camera. That was like pathetic, but this camera was still better than this. So this is the third most important point. Be have a very professional camera. Be professional on the interview. Be in a sound free room. Try to use an headphone while trying to give an interview, a noise cancelling headphone. It won't cost a lot, okay, but these small things will have a greater impact on your on your interview. Because at the end of the day, when you're on the video interview and your video interview is recorded, the hiring manager will go through your video interview, okay. And for by any chance, if your internet connection is slow, maybe your camera is not a great 1080 pixel camera, maybe the headphone which you're using that has a voice or static issues, or maybe you are not in a well lit room, or maybe in a soundproof room, then these things does affect. So this is the third also important point, how to pass the interview. But the first is, prepare yourself for the interview as soon as possible. Try to apply within the first 12 or 24 hours. And third thing is the system requirements like camera, headphone, lighting, and those things. How many hours you work? I usually work 40 hours a week, pretty much. Do you have to know the answers of all the questions asked by the AI? No, no, not at all. No, no one can give all the answers asked by Zara. It's not possible. It's not possible that you can answer all the questions. Even when I she asked me 15 to 20 questions, I remember, because I was counting, the questions the Zara is asking. So among that, I was able to give like 9 or 10 answers perfect. Okay, but a couple of answers I was not able to give properly. But I never said that I don't know about it, because I was giving interview for my particular role, that was for customer service industry, and I had got quite a years of experience. Okay, and so most of the questions I was able to answer. But again, the more the more detailed answers I give, the more technicalities become in the question, and she asks more deep rooted questions, like she goes in details a lot. So again, only talk about the questions, or the topics which you know about thoroughly. I mentioned my Microsoft experience. I was working in Microsoft as a technical support ambassador, and sometimes even a customer onboarding manager. So she asked me the questions: how will you handle an irate customer? How will you onboard a customer who is not willing to use Microsoft Copilot? How will you convert a customer who is layman's in computer, make them understand technical aspects of the product, and how to make them use Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word 365? So these were questions which were asked specific to my role and my experience. So be very thorough about what information you are giving to Zara. Okay, great. Do they pay as much as they specify in the job description? For Indians, I'm not sure about that. But if you're from other parts of the world, from US or Europe, you might be paid. But again, it depends upon the roles. Okay, there are two types of pay rates they mention in their job description. One is the flat rate. Like suppose you apply for a role and it says $12, so you get paid $12. But suppose you apply for a role and it says $20 to $30 per hour, so you can be paid between 20 or $21 or $30. Okay, so sometimes you can even get lesser than that if you are a student or if you are fresh pass out, fresh pass out. So it totally depends upon your experience, how good your interview was, and of course your geographical restrictions. We Indians, we don't get paid as much as compared to the candidates applying from US or Europe. Of course, from because of the purchase pay parity difference. Okay, the power of dollar is much higher as compared to Indian rupees, and of course the cost of living is much lesser. Okay, I suppose if a person is earning, I'm not the right person to judge this, or I'm not the right person to say this, but a person working in India doing work from home, okay, if you're living in Bangalore, I guess 2 lakhs per month or maybe 3 lakhs per month is more than sufficient enough. And if you're living in a different city in India, maybe Calcutta or maybe some, urban region in India, like, some parts of Bihar or UP, then of course 1 lakh per month is also sufficient enough. So it totally depends upon your, how much expectations you have. And of course you get paid within that range, but sometimes you may get paid lower as well. But trust me, among, like, if you go on my experience, I worked with my Micro1, Mercor, Turing, Outlier. Also I got invitation of a project, and there was one more company. This one is the best, and this pays much higher. What are the projects with more openings? Okay, this is a very good question, but unfortunately I don't have answer. But for any AI data annotation company, you need to look for openings. Those are named as generalist or maybe AI data annotator. Okay, they have almost 100 or 200 or maybe sometimes 300 openings. I worked in a process in Turing where there were almost 2,200 people working in the same process. So it just depends upon process to process. But of course, no one can say how many people they want to hire. For example, in my process, when I started, let's say there were X number of experts working in my process when I joined. But then they thought that, okay, we are doing great, the client is very happy with the work which our experts are doing, so we should increase our strength, we should increase our headcount. So then they had double what they had started with, and then triple. So it depends upon the project, and also depends upon the client requirements as well. Sometimes a process starts with 100 people and they ramp down to maybe 50 or 40 people, the top or the best performers. Sometimes if the process is doing great, they can go from 100 people to maybe 300 or maybe 400 people. So it totally depends upon the project. Okay, I guess those were all questions answered. Do we have any other questions in the chat? Then you can ask. And of course, I'll forget to mention as well. Uh, I cannot disclose the exact amount, but sometimes we do get bonuses as well. Working at Micro1, if you are able to complete your project on time, if you are a good performer, which I have been from the day one, so you get, like, if you complete your weekly quota, your weekly targets, okay, then you get a small bonus. Usually it's small, but it does makes a lot of difference, because when you got a bonus, you feel very happy about it, because it's like, the reward which you're getting for doing the great work. So yeah, we do get bonuses as well sometimes time, but that totally depends upon your process and your performance. So that was all about me and my experience working at Micro 1. If I have to give my honest rating, it will be like 10 on 10. Okay, it's of course one of the best company to work with in terms of AI annotation. Are you sure within 1 day we will get the results of the interview? No, I'm not sure. I said if you apply for a particular role and if you have given the interview very like if your interview was great, then you get certified instantly. Okay, for certification, uh, see, I'm just trying to share my experiences over here. For other people it may work differently, but the official confirmation news by Micro 1 is, or the official announcement is, if you apply for a role, you have to wait for at least 4 weeks, like complete 1 month, to get the results of the interview. That's what they say. Okay, but for certification, I have seen myself, like my experience and a couple of guys as well, when the interview was great, they got certified instantly. As far as hiring or getting matched to a particular project, that completely depends. For me, I got selected within 12 hours, maybe because my interview was great, maybe because I appeared as soon as possible, or maybe my experience matched with that particular skill or that particular job. There was also one very important criteria for that job. I got hired as an AI evolution expert. Okay, so there was a major requirement for that particular role was the candidate needs to have an experience with a Fortune 500 company. And since I worked as a technical support ambassador at Microsoft for 2 years, so of course it's a Fortune 500 company. It's one of the big tech companies in the world. So I guess they found my profile lucrative, and that's why I got hired. Okay, so it's not necessary that you will be getting hired within a day. It totally depends upon your interview, how fast you are giving, your geographical location, and what are the current needs for that particular project. Okay, suppose they want to just hire 10 or 15 people. So you may expect an answer in like couple of days. But suppose a lot of people have applied and you are in a talent pool, so you are at the last or maybe in the back, then they will take time to review your recording, the interview recording. So it may take time, but generally they save up to 4 weeks, and it can happen anywhere between 1 day to 4 weeks. No one can say when it's going to happen. What are the payment options? Payment options, as I said, I don't know about other companies, but at India they pay via Deal. Deal is a third party company which handles their payment. So they pay Deal and then you get paid via Deal. Since they are based in US, so they don't want to open their offices in every part of the world. I think that is the reason. And even for the local taxation rules and regulations, so they pay the company and that company pays me. And since I am from India, I get it via a local bank transfer. Most of the times it's NEFT. After certification, need to attend any other interview? Yes, of course. Once you get certified, you can be invited for a particular project, open project, but I'm not sure if that happens. The trick is to keep applying once you get certified. So the job showing with openings but posted a month ago will not hire. Chances are very rare. But you can be certified for those roles. Okay. For certifications, it's most of the time instant. If you give a great interview, it's instant. If a role was posted maybe 1 month ago or 2 months ago, so they may or they may not hire. Suppose they are hiring batches. They had a position for customer service industry, a customer service role 3 months ago. But what if they are trying to hire once again? So they will repost the same job role, so they can do that as well. But of course try to apply as soon as possible. So the job showing with openings but posted on the will, yeah, of course they may not hire. If I don't have any AI tools in my resume, can I apply? Of course you can apply, my friend, 100%. Karthik, I guess, right? Yeah. So I had no prior experience of AI, zero prior experience of AI. Like I don't have any AI certification. All those people selling the AI courses, I don't have any of it. Okay, and so I still was able to crack the interview because I knew the basics of the role, and that's what mattered. Anywhere in the role, they will not say that you need to have a experience in AI. It is just project or maybe role specific. So you can, I would suggest to keep applying. If they mention 5 years experience fresher, of course you can apply. As I said, the interview matters a lot because the hiring manager may look at your profile or may not, but they will definitely check in the interview recording the way how you gave the interview. So that's most important. Okay. So of course, if you are a fresher, but the job experience says that you need to have a 5 years of experience, you can still apply, my friend. You will be able to crack the interview if you are given a grade. Okay, I guess that's it for today. I thought we will have a 25-30 minutes of session, but it had a great 1 hour of session. I'm sure I was able to answer a lot of questions, okay, which many people had. So yeah, so I have even shared my trick of how to prepare for the interviews. And if you have any questions, you can uh, hit me on my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is mentioned in the YouTube bio. And yeah, next video we'll be having on like Wednesday or maybe on Sunday. I'm not sure about that, but that will not be a live session. My main goal of this live session was, people usually try to post a YouTube video, which even I thought, even my like my family members said that why don't you post a video instead of going on live? It's because many people had a lot of questions. Understand one thing: 500 or 600 people messaging me on of Facebook, in a span of 2 days. So there were a lot of questions which were unanswered. Mostly were from Indians, and mostly somewhere from US as well. So that is the way. That is why I thought, let's go ahead and have a live session. Let's start my YouTube channel with a live session, so that not only I can share my experience working at Micro1 since last 6 or 7 months, but at the same time answer some questions. Okay, yeah. uh, I hope you guys liked this session. Next video will be next week, and I'll be discussing about my experience at Turing. I even worked at Turing for almost 3 months and 2 or 3 months, I guess. Yeah, and I had a great experience there as well. Work at Turing was completely different with Micro One. So let's keep this topic for the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. And this was Nishant from All About Remote Jobs, the one and only place to know all about remote jobs. Thank you so much. Bye bye.